Hey everybody, I'm Rob Freeman and welcome back to Insuring the Built Environment. This week we're answering the question, what is the difference between an umbrella and an excess insurance policy? Well, if you're wondering about the difference between umbrella and excess, it's not surprising because you can hear insurance brokers and even insurance carriers using these terms interchangeably. And at the end of the day, both umbrella and excess provide the same sort of functionality. They will provide an extra layer of coverage above a primary insurance policy. So let's say you have a commercial general liability policy with $1 million per occurrence of coverage limits, and you suffer a $1.5 million claim for third party bodily injury and property damage. And so, if you have that primary CGL with $1 million worth of limits, you will find that you are covered, assuming the policy covers that peril that was related to the claim, and you'll be covered for $1 million that you would have for your primary CGL. But then above that, you could come out of pocket for the $500,000 in that $1.5 million claim scenario. But if you have a umbrella or an excess policy for $1 million above that, you would have $2 million per occurrence of coverage to cover you in that $1.5 million claim scenario. So again, at the end of the day, both umbrella and excess provide a similar functionality. They're designed to give you another level of coverage above your primary limits. But at both umbrella and excess insurance policies are slightly different types of policies. So let's start with umbrella. So as I described, an umbrella policy will provide you with an additional layer of coverage above your primary limits. However, an umbrella policy can cover more than one type of coverage. So you could have a umbrella policy that sits above your CGL or your general liability policy, your auto, your employer's liability, maybe even errors and omissions. It depends on the nature of the policy. And you could also have an umbrella policy that has broader or narrower coverage depending on how the policy is written. So, in some cases, you may hear that an umbrella policy provides broader coverage than the underlying general liability limits, and that may be the case. In which case, if there's a claim on something that's not covered by your general liability, it's possible that the umbrella policy will drop down and cover you in that first, like as a first layer in that case scenario. Now, in that situation, there's a chance that depending again how the policy is written, that umbrella policy may have a self-insured retention or deductible associated with that specific type of coverage scenario. So again, read your policy to understand how the terms are. So that's how an umbrella policy works. Now, let's talk about an excess insurance policy. Again, an excess insurance policy is there to provide you with another layer of limits above your primary insurance. But an excess insurance policy is really designed usually to cover a single type of policy. So if you have an excess policy for your CGL, you might need a separate excess policy for your auto or a separate excess policy for your errors and omissions. So depending on the nature of the coverage that you need or the excess policies that you're buying. So you might have to buy separate policies for each one. So that's the difference between umbrella and excess. Now, another term you may hear in looking at the umbrella and excess market is the term follow form. And what follow form means is, in theory, it's supposed to mean that the umbrella or excess policy is following the letter of the coverage written in the underlying policy. But again, read your insurance policy to make sure that your excess or umbrella policy does not have different exclusions or coverages or terms than your underlying policy, even if you think it's follow form. Because it's possible that you can have an umbrella policy that has exclusions that are not in the underlying, and you can have an excess policy that has exclusions that are not in the underlying. So again, talk to your broker and read through your policy to make sure you understand what coverage you have for your business. And that's really it in a nutshell. An umbrella policy and an excess policy are designed to do similar things. They provide additional layers of coverage above the primary limits, but the excess and umbrella policies are slightly different. And so you should just be aware of the differences, and that'll help you make sure you're safer in terms of your business coverage. So if you have questions about umbrella or excess policies, please feel free to schedule an appointment with me below at the link below this video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope this is helpful, and have a great day.